as doing any of the defensive perspective, you want to have something that your kids feel comfortable with. So, first off, if you're switching it up all the time, then you're kind of sometimes shooting yourself in your own foot because you might be counterproductive, you might be creating offense because you're doing something that your team's not comfortable with. From an offensive perspective, I would say those things do work though. A lot of offenses are predicated on attacking the short stick, initiating an offense by dodging against a short stick. If you shut those short sticks off, you're taking away what we want to do, and now you're playing four players versus four offensive guys. So, I would say yes and no. Quite honestly, it depends on the level your team is. If you feel comfortable, I would encourage you to get comfortable with one type of defense first. Once you feel really good about that, then you can start incorporating. We call them sometimes jump, it's different stuff. But hey, they're just that's what basketball is. They're switching up defenses all the time. So, but I would get comfortable with one thing, and then you can start adding any of these things based on really your personnel.
Yeah. From a bigger perspective, it's funny when you talk about the zone and all that stuff. It's I think it's very difficult. One of the things that's happening in lacrosse right now, in the past 5 years, there have been more Division I coaches fired than the prior 50 years. And so you're seeing a little more desperate measures. To see Coach Starcher go to the zone is blasphemy, because he's one of the guys who always would put a defender out on the island and say, hey, don't get beat because we're not helping you. And now all of a sudden you have this back-end thing. But to his credit, they've got long, athletes that are big and find really good sticks, get those sticks in there. What we've been saying to youth coaches for years is, please don't play zone because it's counterintuitive to what we want when we look at a defenseman. We want to look and see a kid's feet. We want to see, can he cover somebody? And then we get the youth coaches, all playing zone. It doesn't prepare the kids. On the other hand, those guys are giving you time, you're working hard, you want the kids to have fun, and so success comes with that. I would certainly agree with this, is to find what something that suits you and go with it. But start, whatever you do, start with basic man-to-man individual techniques. If you watch us play, we don't cover anybody. And so, we go out here, I am telling you, work on kids' individual techniques, but we never cover everybody. We just try to direct people. And so, because we're always sliding so much and things like that. That changed a little last, and as Chris said, as you move forward, you tweak it a little bit. But, I think it's just, when you see that blank stare in a 12-year-old's face, you've gone too far. You've done too much. Go back to the simple things and do that and go from there. But whatever you do, just remember what you guys do is the most important thing in lacrosse. And you prepare these young guys to have fun, to enjoy the game, and to learn some skills. And so if you tweak your defense a little bit, don't get crazy, don't worry about it. Just keep the movement that I believe in. I feel like I'm probably go to my grave before it happens, but I don't believe that any kid should be playing field lacrosse until they're 12. I think we should all be playing box lacrosse. Fortunately, in Canada, they have the facilities for that. There's outdoor boxes, there's indoor boxes, and the smaller numbers of kids in these towns, and the sports are just different there. But we run a huge box lacrosse league as soon as we're done in the fall. And I just think the skill level that the Canadian kids bring to you, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out if the ball doesn't go out of bounds, they're going to learn how to pick up ground balls better. If the goal is 4x4 with a big fat goalie in front of it, they're going to learn how to be better shooters. If you can beat the living daylights out of each other, you're going to be a little tougher on the offensive end. And so when you throw all those things together, it becomes a different style kid. Matt Brown, my offensive coach, he's a Canadian. He's a Vancouver and Burnaby guy. And, I don't know how much we'll get into it today because we both practiced 2 weeks, but to get a chance to see our Hopkins game last year, our quarterfinal game, we integrated both. We would start out in what we call our American offenses, and then all of a sudden it resulted in a two-man play. Right. And it was kind of shocking. All we really did was combine some things that we had done individually. So yes, I think it's it's an awesome opportunity that we're seeing now to at least teach the young guys the skills that the Canadians learn. I hate to say we've learned anything from soccer, but one of the things that we do a lot of, and I'm sure Chris does too, is a lot of 4-on-4, a lot of 5-on-5, a lot of 3-on-3 stuff. And that by breaking it down into smallness, you can do the Canadian.
I did notice actually in your game last year, you know, traditionally the field two-man game is inside guys.
That's right.
You know, picking and rolling off the ball for each other, and you guys were doing a lot of sort of shopping and slip picks and fake picks and stuff on the edges, and it was effective.
Funny, Princeton does it now. They're basically
They run a box offense.
Box offense with a circle and all 3 sets of 2.
Yeah.
It's a little difficult to stay in that because you get used to that.
One thing I always, just kind of following up on that point, I always encourage youth players, the biggest thing is to become a master of their stick, and that's have the best possible stick skills, the best possible overall skills by the time they get to high school. You know, there's nothing obviously better than the wall. You know, you pound it into kids when they're young, but it's true. I mean, you know, I force my guys to do a ton of wall ball, you know, all the time. You know, there's really no substitute in terms of working on your skill. So if you don't have the luxury of being able to play box across, it's just got to focus though. It's got to be on becoming a master of your stick, having the best possible stick skills when you're developing as a youth player. You know, it's the wall, it's shooting all the time, it's going out with your friend and playing, but focus has got to be on developing those skills. You know, and I would say, you know, I'm a big fan of the box game as well. It's simply, you're forced to execute in tight spaces under pressure. You know, you don't get that in field lacrosse when you're younger. A bigger, stronger kid picks it up and he runs past people. But in the box game, you know, it's certainly very conducive to just developing excellent stick skills, toughness. So, you know, I think most of the college coaches, you know, more and more college coaches are going up to Canada to get those players, but I think all of us are learning from the way they are developed and trained. I think all of us are incorporating parts of that box system into the way we develop our players.